think. Not yet.
Not yet.
There we go. Now we are. Setting up your meeting for Facebook Live. Still trying to go live here.
Oh, it's on.
It's on? Okay. It's on. All right. We'll share this. Still don't see it on here. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay. Now let me go back to. All right. We're live. Hi, guys. How are you?
We're good. How you doing?
Good. We'll wait for just a couple seconds here for people to jump back on. I'm sorry about that, the confusion and that not working. I thought it would. I should have tried it beforehand.
That's okay. We got it all figured out now.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we have 12 people watching us here now. They're all jumping on. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Sorry about that. All right. Let's see. All right. Guys been doing good today?
Doing good.
Very good.
All right, good. Enjoy this beautiful day.
Yeah, it's about time, huh?
I know. I know. I'm hoping it's not going to rain this weekend.
I hope not. I really do.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, welcome. This is Josh and Ashley Wiesmith, and they are wonderful members at Firstborn Ministries, and we are so thankful for them, and we love and appreciate them. And so, again, this is called Meet the Family, and we are just interviewing some folks from the church, and just an informal interview, and have a few questions for them. So, first of all, thank you again for joining us tonight on the premiere episode.
Meet the family.
So tell us a little bit about yourselves, kind of your background, what you do for a living, and where you grew up. Just tell us a little bit about about yourselves.
I guess I'll go first. I've been in church for a while now. I've been in church, it's been about 20 years, a little bit longer probably. Right now, currently, I work at Woodward. I'm an operations supervisor. I just oversee production, make sure everything's going okay at work, get my people what they need, and make sure everything's flowing and the customer's happy, And basically, I was born in Elgin, Illinois, and grew up in Belvedere for a while. And then we moved to Loves Park. And then when I was 15, me and my parents and my sister, we moved to Florida until I was about 19. And then that's when I decided to join the military. And then at age 24, I moved back here, and Ashley had moved back from San Diego to here, and we've been here ever since in Loves Park.
Awesome. What about you, Ashley?
So I work at One Body Collaboratives. It's a Christian resource center. So we just help people out that are in need of food, clothing, things like that.
Awesome.
So I grew up in Rockford and pretty much lived here my whole life, except for the 2 years we lived in San Diego.
All right. Awesome. And you've been at Firstborn most of your life.
Yeah. I started going there when I was 8 years old, so over 20 years now. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. And I've known you, Josh, for probably since Belvedere days.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, when your dad was youth pastor, I think, over there for a while.
Yeah, he used to like picking on you, if I remember right.
Yeah, it was probably both ways,
I can't talk badly about my pastor. I won't do that.
Oh, yeah, no, you guys both come from a wonderful family. Both of their families are at Firstborn Ministries, and so we're thankful for them. And again, they're just two great people. Tell us about your little one for a moment here. You guys have a little one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we do. Yeah. In September, he'll be 2. His name's Isaac Allen Wiesmith. He is 35 pounds of joy. We think he's training to be a football player right now. He actually tackled Grandpa Randall the other day, and I received a text message about it. And yeah, he's great. He's awesome. I'm not sure if everybody does know, but you know, we were able to actually go through the adoption process with him, and you know, that was something we got to go through together. You know, and
Wow.
it took a little while, you know, and it was quite the process, but you know, it was totally worth it, and we're thankful he kind of completes us, you know, and we're just happy to have him.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We might come back to that in just a little bit if that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's an awesome young man.
He's
You know,
so cute.
yeah, he is. I was thinking if Grandpa Randall had anything to do with it, it wouldn't be football. It would be baseball. It'd be
He's already gotten him a couple jerseys. We're trying for a Bears one, but it's not going there.
Hopefully they're Cubs jerseys.
Yes, yeah, he's pushing the Cardinals. It's not good.
Yeah. All right.
Well, tell us, how did you guys meet and how long have you been married?
So we met in Belvedere, at Belvedere Church. It was me and my family. We went there for a while to help out the Belvedere Church, and we met then. And then his family had moved to Florida. So a few years later, we started talking on Facebook again, and yeah, and then he was joining the military, and we kind of just kept talking, and then ended up getting married. We know each other for a long time.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. So you guys knew each other for a long time before you all were married. And how long have you guys been married?
It's going to be 9 years in August.
That wasn't a trick question, Josh.
I saw you.
Well, that's awesome. 9 years in August. Congratulations. That's awesome.
So tell us, what are each of your favorite foods? And if we were able to be in restaurants right now, what would your date night restaurant be?
Yeah.
So my favorite food would pretty much be anything Italian. But with our date nights, we usually go to Longhorn. That's one of our favorites.
Nice.
Yeah.
Besides Longhorn, last summer we were introduced down at Sinisippi Park. They have the food trucks in the summer, which I'm really hoping that they have this year, you know. And
Yeah.
we went down there with my sister and her husband, and they have this Olivo taco truck there. And I've become very addicted to that place. They got a restaurant on College Ave, by the way. It's down there.
There you go.
It's really good.
Yeah. Give them a shout out. They're good. I think I saw, was it you? Did you take your parents or Ashley, your parents to the one on College Avenue?
Yeah, it was my parents. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Those are awesome. Sometimes they are on 11th Street at one of the gas stations. And so whenever I'm going to the church or coming back, sometimes I'll just stop there and get the 3 for $5. And
Really?
It's a trap. It's a trap.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my. Well, Josh, your father-in-law said Josh heard her singing a special at Belvedere Church and couldn't resist.
That's exactly what it was. Yes.
That's right. Okay.
I'm glad he forced her to sing.
Yeah. We can thank Pastor Peffer and Brother Randall.
Yes.
So we have a question from online. It's I have a question. This is from Mona. What is your favorite flavored wings? So I'm assuming like buffalo wings or hot wings. What's your favorite flavor?
So from Buffalo Wild Wings, mine are the Asian Zing. Those are good.
Nice.
I like Thai curry. That's kind of my thing. I like those.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, how about any hobbies? Do you guys have any hobbies?
Besides eating at our favorite restaurants, I grill. I used to play sports a little bit, but besides that, our hobbies kind of turned into Isaac, just kind of taking care of him, and making sure he's okay. He, just come home and play with his toys and stuff, and, watch church, and that's pretty much what we do.
That's awesome. And you guys have a couple of awesome pictures of Isaac worshiping.
So cute.
We shared one a few weeks ago on our Facebook like page on the church. It's so cute and awesome. That is,
thank you.
You guys are doing what the scripture says. You're training up a child and the way that they should be. And that's awesome. That is so cool that you guys were raised in the church and now you are taking it to the next generation and raising your kids. And it's so awesome to have young families, people that are our age. I still consider myself young. Young families in the church that are raising their kids in the church. And what a testimony that is for other young families that, hey, you can do it. We're not perfect. We got faults, but you know what? We're doing the best we can. So that's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Josh, talk to us a little bit about your experience in the military. What branch were you in, kind of how long, and any stories from that?
I was in the United States Marine Corps for 4 years and 8 months.
The only branch in the military.
It should be, but we don't say that out loud.
Oh, sorry.
don't want to offend,
Yeah, that's right.
So during that time, I spent, the 3 months at boot camp, and then I went to my secondary school, and then went to Pensacola, and that was actually my aircrew school where I was able to, get ready for my job, which was KC-130J crewmaster. I basically sat behind a pilot and a co-pilot in a plane, and I made sure that all the systems in the plane, anything from the engines all the way through the fuel system, bleed air, anything like that was running, and we'd sign the plane out and we'd go fly around the world, literally. I did that a couple times. That was fun.
Wow.
And then also, you'd load the aircraft with passengers, cargo, whatever, and make sure it's within limits to fly. And it was a good time. I was going to write into a testimony Tuesday, but I didn't get time. One of the stories I wanted to share was I was in Africa at the time, and we were supposed to fly into Afghanistan the next day. And we went out to the plane, and one of the mission computers on the plane actually died. And there's only 2 on the plane, and you have to have both of them in order to fly. And we decided, we can't fly this plane. We're going to take the other plane. We're going to go to Bahrain and pick up a part and come back, and fix the plane. And we delayed the flight for the next day. That night when we went to sleep in Africa, there actually was a mortar round and a bombing at the base we were supposed to go to in Kandahar. And they actually ended up blowing up a C-130 on the line. And I feel honestly like God decided that the plane wasn't going to work that day. And, I told Ashley about it when I got home from Africa, because, every night we're on Skype, kind of like we are now, and I was like, I don't really want to, make her more afraid. But, when she was back here, she had everybody in the church praying, and it was definitely a God thing, because stuff like that just doesn't happen, and there were so many other times where, things went wrong on the plane that, it could have been a lot worse than what it was. We'd be leaking hydraulic fluid or something like that. And it's like, I hope we get to land, but we were always okay, and as soon as I got out, it seemed like planes started not being able to fly as well, and there were some people that I know that, went down on their planes, but it seemed like God always, he had my back the whole time while I was in, and really grateful for that.
Wow. That's awesome. That's an awesome testimony. And, thank you for your service, Josh. Thank you so much for our country. And we appreciate that. And thank you, Ashley, for allowing him to go and being his girlfriend, wife, whatever it was at the time. And I know that's hard on you and also to your family, Josh, to your parents. That is a wonderful service to our country. And so thank you guys. We appreciate that. But wow, if someone I know I'm doing this a little off cuff, but if I know we have people in our church right now that they have sons and daughters in the military right now, some that are overseas. Um, you being overseas and being there, what can you say to encourage maybe families that have a son or a daughter right now in the military and going through that, what you just talked about?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, I'm not gonna lie. It's really hard, and you really gotta try to schedule times to get in touch. Sometimes Wi-Fi over there, you're in a third world country, and hopefully if the wire's working that day. I mean,
Wow.
it's difficult. Ashley used to stay up late, in order to, talk to me, and I'd be staying up late. And it's like, you just gotta value the moments that you have, on Skype or anything. The best thing you can do though is just pray, because it doesn't matter where you go, God is going to be there and he's going to show up, and as long as you're praying and you're focused on that, nothing is out of reach for God. And that's the important thing.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. That is awesome. And you know what? We are praying for those families that have someone, whether it's overseas or on a base here in this country. We're with them, and we appreciate you all and the sacrifices that you all are making. So awesome.
So tell us about what your guys' involvement and roles have been in the church over the years. What kind of ministries have you all been involved in?
So I was teaching Sunday school a lot. I know in Belvedere, I actually helped Josh's mom with the preteen girls, and I really enjoyed that. In Firstborn Ministries, I've helped out in Sunday school a lot, which I really enjoy. We did get to go to youth convention a couple of times, and one was to help out with the youth, and then the other time was to help you guys with serving food, which we really enjoyed doing that
It's
too.
great. Yeah, awesome.
Both of us did grow up youth pastors' kids, from back in the day.
That's right.
So we know how it is, with being in the youth group and your parents are the youth pastors, and it's like,
Yeah.
No, I helped in Sunday school too, growing up, and then, coming to Firstborn, I was able to help with the media department when Michael King was over it, and helped him kind of run it. And he showed me a lot on how to do things in there. And then I was able to, run the media department for a while and help people out, and then in between all that, and on top of that, we started doing Bible studies and at the church, on Wednesday nights every once in a while. And now I'm currently trying to go for my minister's license, and I only got a couple classes left. They're taking a while,
Awesome. I understand.
They take time. It's hard. It's difficult, but yeah, it's going.
Good. I know it's a long process to receive, and there's 3 levels of licensing for people who don't know what we're talking about. He's going to try to get his local license with the United Pentecostal Church, and there's a process that you have to go through, and it's not a short process. It's a lengthy process, multiple interviews, and there's 3 steps up to general, then ordination. So I know you can do it. I'm behind you 100%.
Thank you.
I'll try to pull the arm of your presbyter to give you a good review.
Thank you. I need all the help I can get.
If you don't know, that's our senior pastor. That's the presbyter. So, well, I know you guys, we're getting ready to kind of close up here. There's just a couple more questions. I know you guys have already talked about your son, Isaac, but kind of talk a little bit more, if you will, about kind of that process when he came to be with you all. I know firsthand about foster care and adoption because I have 2 adopted sisters, and I remember my parents going through a long process, and it's a very emotional thing to go through. So kind of talk about that, and people who might be going through that or will be going through that, kind of talk about that process a little bit, foster and adoption.
Our process, it kind of started 2 years before we even knew about Isaac, before he was even thought of. It was one Sunday night. We were going up, and Ashley and I were fasting and praying, and we've been married for, at that point it was 6 to 7 years, and needless to say, we just weren't able to have a child, and it was kind of difficult, watching everybody else around you being able to do it, and it hurt, a lot, and we know how people feel, if you're going through that, it is tough watching it, and we've lived firsthand with it. And I went up to the altar every Sunday, and I was just begging God, why, what did I do? Am I paying for something I did a while ago? And that's now that I look back, and I've talked to both pastors, he doesn't hold stuff against you like that. He's a very forgiving, loving God. And at that point, I was really struggling with it, and church was difficult with everything, and there was one service, I'll never forget it. Pastor Maynard, senior pastor, got done preaching, and he called everyone up front, and Ashley and I went up there, and we were praying again, and he pointed at us and gave us the principal look of, come here. And I was like, I don't wanna, that's, but I was like, okay. So we went over there, and he said, I'm going to prophesy over you right now. And I was like, oh, this is okay. This is different, and
Sure.
He said, you will have children. It's not going to be the way you think it is going to work, but you will have them. And I'm going to pray over you right now. And, right away, Ashley and I were thinking a different way. And, from that moment on, that was one of the most powerful things ever, because that proved so much, that God really does care, and he was there watching the whole time.
Yeah.
And so we signed up, and we went through the adoption agency, and they give you classes you have to do. I can't remember how long the classes were, but there were several of them, that you can do online. And it seems monthly at first. They're coming out to your house to check it, to make sure everything's okay.
Wow.
And we did end up fostering a young man named Brody, and that was difficult, because we got a phone call randomly, and it was, hey, we have a child that we've taken out of his home. It's inadequate, and he's going to need at least a week to stay with you. And I'm all excited at work, and I come in the door, and I stand there, and as soon as I walk in the door, he looks at me, and he just starts screaming, like blood curdles screaming. And he had been abused by whoever his father figure was. And there's one thing about fostering, you never know what you're going to get, but you have to help people when you can, because there's people out there that need it more than we do, and sometimes you just got to be willing to do the hard things, and that was a tough time, having to drop him off and, move on, because you get attached no matter what you do,
Sure.
But you were there for that little period. And then it was several months later. Was it about a month? We got surprised at church, and I'll let Ashley tell this part. This is her favorite part of the story.
Okay.
So we kind of knew about Isaac, but we didn't know what was going to happen. So we went to church one Wednesday, and Isaac was there with, it was a lady in our church. It was one of her relatives. So she brought him to us, and as soon as I held him, I felt, this is my baby. Like, it was a instant connection between us.
Sure.
And we didn't know what the process was going to be, but I just kind of felt it. And so when he was about 3 months old, we had him full time, fostering him. And then they had to wait till he was 1 year old to be able to adopt him. So shortly after he was 1, we finally got to adopt him.
Wow.
But yeah, it was a long process, but we're so thankful for him.
That's awesome. And that was how many months ago now?
We adopted him in December.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
the one thing they tell you is, try not to get attached no matter what you do, and it's like, how can you not when there's, a little person there waiting, and expecting help from you, and Ashley and I made the decision, when we started caring for Isaac, that no matter what, if we are able to keep him or not, that we're going to do it to the best of our ability. And we're just going to act like he's part of the family and he's always been here. And, thankfully God heard our prayers, and, he followed through on everything, the prophecy that Pastor Maynard gave for us. And, now, we get woken up every morning and we wouldn't change anything about
it. Wow. Well,
best thing ever.
He truly is the best thing ever. And he is a great young man. And you all are doing a great job with him. And I'm thankful for you guys that God placed you. He picked you all out for Isaac. And he knew he had a plan. Like I was talking about earlier, he had a plan. And and I'm thankful that you all were there for that young man. Now he's able to grow up in a beautiful home with loving parents, and what a wonderful story that is. That touches my heart, and I know it touches many more hearts. So, well, if you had some encouragement when you were going through even not being able to have a child, and then adopting or fostering and not knowing if you're going to be able to keep him or not, can you give some encouragement maybe to a couple that's out there, a young couple that are maybe trying to have a child, or maybe have had miscarriages or things of that nature? What's some encouragement that you can give them during this time in their life and the process that they're in?
I would just say, keep having faith and keep praying. There was many times where it was so hard just to, if you hear a pregnancy announcement and you're so happy for that person, but at the same time, you're so sad for you. So I would just say, keep praying and having faith that God hears your prayers. And, just like the prophecy that a senior pastor gave us, it might not be how you think it's going to happen, but it will happen, and just keep in faith.
Awesome. That is awesome. Thank you. Josh, you want to say something? Did you have something?
Yeah, I kept telling myself through it all, his ways are not our ways and his thoughts are not my thoughts. And I didn't understand what was going on, but now that we went through the storm and everything, it was worth it. It was totally worth it. Everything worked out, and you just gotta keep the faith.
That's awesome. Amen. Like the song says, it's going to be worth it all.
Yes.
And it's talking about heaven, of course, but I think even on this earth, there's things that is worth waiting for.
Right.
And that's awesome. Thank you for that. That's awesome, because I know there are people that are your age and our age that are going through, this same thing. And it breaks my heart as it breaks yours. And as my heart was breaking for you guys going through that, process. And we don't understand the reasons why, but God does have a plan. And I'm thankful that we see the other side of the plan with you guys, how he makes a way through everything. So, well, we have one last question, but thank you so much, you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you for joining us tonight. We love you all. We miss you guys very much. You all are our friends. And so we love you all.
Love you too. Can't wait to get back to normal things.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So the last question Heather's going to ask.
So tell us what you love about your church and your church family.
So what I love is, like I said, I've been there since I was 8 years old. So I love the welcoming that you get when you walk in. It's like you're going to visit your family every week. So it's just, I love being there. It's my favorite day of the week is Sundays to go to church. But I just love how everybody so nice and treats you like family.
That's awesome.
I love just everything about the church. Everybody's so welcoming. I came in after not living my life for God for so long, and everyone just kind of welcomed you with open arms, and really cared. And there's just so much love there, and everyone truly does, try their best, and they love the Lord. And there are some characters you got to watch out for. Sharon Campbell, you know who you are. But I'm telling you, Sharon's fine. I love Sharon. She's a great lady.
She gives good hugs.
I
Really
know
good
she
hugs.
does. She gives the best hug. Sharon does. But no, I felt so, welcomed and a part of it. And the most important thing is I know it's the right church because it preaches the right things, and I'm so grateful for that too. I know the truth, and I'm glad that God let me be a part of the truth.
Amen. Amen. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you guys again for your time tonight. I know there were many, I was looking at my phone here as we were going, there were many people who were loving everything that you guys were saying and thankful for you guys and the testimony that you shared tonight. And so as we try to say every night, hug your family for us, hug Isaac for us. We love you guys. And for the rest of you watching tonight, hug your families. We love you all. We'll see you again soon. Bye, guys. Good night.
Bye.
See you, everybody. Bye.